Hey, do you have a stay-at-home kid? In this video, I'm going to tell you 3 ways that you can make sure your kid is healthier while staying at home. Hello, my name is Dr. Matt Pennetti. I'm a neurostructural chiropractor here in Denver, Colorado. My office is called Prime Chiropractic, and today I'm not going to share with you guys about how you need to be teaching your kids or what they should be learning. I'm going to be talking about how you can avoid all the breakdown that's happening across the board with these kids when they're in school. Because the first thing we have kids do after they've learned how to walk and they're developing these intricate muscular and neurological systems, is we tell them to sit in the seat and stay there for 8 hours, which is unfortunate because it just wreaks havoc on a developing spine and body. And so now that these kids, or a majority of them, are staying at home at least for a portion of their week, I encourage you as parents to take advantage of it and start teaching these kids healthy habits, because nowadays, more than ever, we're seeing these problems happen and occur in kids 10 years and up, meaning we can identify breakdown in their spine using an x-ray. We can literally see the breakdown already happening when they're 10 years old. And it's due, 1, to the sitting, and 2, to all the technology that they're using, because they're not using technology in an ideal position. You're usually looking down at it like this. Any parent probably notices that situation with their kid or themselves. So parents, you could probably learn from this too. But here's the deal. You can sit, you can have your son, your daughter sit in their chair, but don't have them sit there for terribly long. What I mean by that is not a 2-hour or a 3-hour stint if you can help it. You want your kid to sit here for probably no longer than 20 to 30 minutes max, because what happens is your hips start to lock down. They get stuck together, all the muscles around them. And what ends up happening is when we go to stand up, our hips are still locked. And the way somebody would stand straight is to hyperextend their low back. That keeps the head up, the eyes level to the horizon, but eventually we develop a lot of discomfort and pain on our low back. And that's the first thing. So instead of just sitting in a chair, you can do that, but the idea or the goal is to break those sitting sessions up. Maybe they're going to get something to eat, or going to get something to drink, or to the bathroom, or just simply to move around. The biggest thing is change the position of how they're sitting repeatedly. And to that point, the second thing that I think is important for you as parents is if they are sitting, one of the best positions is actually on the floor. All right, so if you can set up the computer, and I'm going to go over that in number 3, set up the computer, the iPad, whatever they're working on, so that they can sit on the floor. That's the best place for them. Because what happens when you're on the floor is you have to get into different positions in order to be comfortable. And so they may start out cross-legged like this, which is a great position. It gets the hips into a position that we don't usually get into when we're sitting in a chair. So that's great. If this gets old after, let's say, 5 or 15 minutes, perfect. Move, switch positions. Don't necessarily get off the floor, but move how you've got your legs positioned. Maybe you put one leg out in front and you put one leg behind, or you switch it up. You might put one up like this. Whatever the case may be, I don't really care. The goal is to move, to change positions, because that keeps all the muscles happy, as well as all the joints and the spine happy as well. So that's the second tip. Now the third tip is where these kids are putting their technology. So if we're not watching, we're not careful, say they're working at the kitchen table or at their desk, if the computer is right here, where I'm looking down at the screen, it's putting a ton of stress and pressure into my neck, which eventually is going to cause us to lose the curve in the neck. You might have heard of something called text neck. We call it anterior head carriage. It's where the head starts to drift out in front of the shoulders. And it happens from doing this too much, whether it's a computer, an iPad, or a cell phone. So instead of keeping the computer down, put something under it. Maybe it's a shoebox or a couple books, but elevate the computer screen. That way we've got it at eye level. It's less strain and stress on the neck, and ultimately is going to cause problems down the road. I hope you guys found this valuable. If you have any questions, always reach out or leave a comment below, and I'll hope to see you guys on the next one.